Blog Talk Radio.
Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. And I am the light within your soul. In the essence of truth and right, love makes the circle whole. And here we stand in line, waiting for some sacred sign. But to find the balance is the purpose of this time. To restore the balance of the universal mind. And in the presence of my Lord of light and love, everything I see aspiring to be free. And when I call to thee, and come on bended knee, surrender to the all-pervading light and love. Reflections of the one surrounding me with love. And I sense your presence. I sense your presence. I sense your presence. I sense your presence. Within and without, above and below, yeah. East, west, north and south, I sense your presence. Without and within, below and above, yeah, yeah. East, west, north and south, I sense your presence. I sense your presence. Presence of my Lord of light and love, everything I find in tune with the divine. And here we stand in line, waiting for some sacred sign. But to find the balance is the purpose of this time. To restore the balance of the universal mind. And I am the light within your soul. In the essence of truth and right, love makes the circle whole. And when I call to thee, and come on bended knee, surrender to the all-pervading light and love. Reflections of the one surrounding me with love. For to find the balance is the purpose of this time. To restore the balance of the universal mind. And I sense your presence. I sense your presence. I sense your presence. I sense your presence. Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shabbat Shalom, Holy Angel of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. I sense your presence.
Thank you for joining me tonight on Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour. My name is Jessie Ann Nichols George, and I am your hostess. The music you heard at the beginning of the show is I Sense Your Presence. It's by Shemshai, a group that I got acquainted with in the Sedona, Arizona area a few years back when I was living down near the Phoenix area, and I was going in and out of Sedona for a while. They're now traveling worldwide and sharing their music everywhere. And I just want to say welcome back to those that are returning and welcome to those that are joining us here for the first time. I do focus on helping people find and use compassion in their everyday lives. I created the Genesis Clearing Statement, which some of you have experienced on previous shows, such as last week we were working with somebody using that tool that I've created. And if you've missed any of those archives, you can just go back and listen to them, either going in, for example, on my Activating Compassion page. You can go to facebook.com/Activating Compassion/notes, and you'll find all the archive shows there. Also, I've created the Compassion Tour, which is a multi-state nationwide tour, including workshops, retreats, seminars, book signings, and fundraising events. I'm already working on creating a tour for 2013. Matter of fact, just before the show a little bit, I was talking with some people at Eat, Heal, Live working on setting up a retreat up there in the New York area for this upcoming year. So I'm very, very excited about working with them again. And you can follow any of the events that are available to register for on the Compassion Tour at jessieannnicholsgeorge.eventbrite.com. And there's also an option there for gifting the tour. So if you want to just help support the tour a little bit, if you want to help me get around to those fundraisers, you can go in and offer any amount of money that you want to help me do that. And remember, with the fundraisers, I do provide or give 90% of what's brought in on those events to the organization. So it's really a great way to share and share and share. So that's a great option for a lot of people that maybe they just can't make it in. And then here on the show, Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour, I look at different ways that compassion exists in our lives. I look at how to remove our blocks, resistances, frustrations, and more. Some weeks I'm discussing different aspects of how compassion is in our life and how it affects our life and the different areas of compassion. And then some weeks I'm doing more exercises and practical implementations, which is what we worked on last week. And then some weeks I'm bringing in guests. So a lot of times I've got some fantastic guests lined up. For example, tonight Dina Beauvais is on with us, and that's going to be a really exciting time. And also highlighting different musical artists along the way. So lots of different things happening on this show. And then nights that are just the call-in coaching nights, and you can call in, share what's happening in your life, and I work with you live on the air to help you get through things, make those breakthroughs, answer questions that you have about things that are going on in your life. And just keep in mind, whether it's a coaching show or whether it's a show where I've got a guest on like tonight, and when you're asking your questions, when you're sharing the things that are happening, that's going to help not only yourself, but it's going to help a lot of other people out there as well, because usually there's somebody else out there that's got the same question or dealing with a very similar situation. So it's really great when you do ask. And I am going to be watching the chat room for the people that are in there and paying attention. So you can always type a question into chat, or you can also call in on our line at 760-542-4345, and then you just press 1, and that will put you into my switchboard queue, and I'll know that you've got a question to ask. And then, as I mentioned, on tonight's show, I've got Dina Beauvais, and we're going to be looking tonight at how to manifest new realities in your life, okay? So this is going to be a really exciting show. I know a lot of people are here at the New Year's, and they're ready to get going with things in their life, and Dina's got a really great tool and program for helping you do that. And just a reminder, if you enjoy this show, Make certain that you tell your friends, family, significant others, share it all over Facebook. It's really exciting because the show is growing right now, and every week I am getting emails and I'm getting people contact me through LinkedIn and connecting with me, and it's really making a difference. So you never know which one of your contacts out there just really could be using something like this right now. And they can also listen to the shows again in the archives. So if you've got friends in different time zones, maybe it's a little late for them or they're working at night, they can catch the archives. They just use the same link to come in. And again, they can also catch it at facebook.com/activatingcompassion/notes. So lots of options there. Now, like we do every week, before we get started on everything, I like to work with Yehuda Berg. He's just one of my favorites because he keeps everything in real language, everyday language. And I like to tap into his book, The 72 Names of God, and just kind of get a little insight for our show and for our week, a little something that we can ponder during the week as well, and just get ourselves a little message here. And for those that don't or haven't listened in before, what I do is I'm just randomly selecting one of the concepts in his book, and the names are done in very simple, everyday terms. So they're done as a concept. And Yehuda is master in the Kabbalah. He teaches a lot of the Kabbalah aspects. So lots of information that comes from him, great wisdom. And tonight what I'm drawing up here and opening to is revealing the concealed. And I think this is going to fit in really, really well with our show tonight. And it says here, the ego distorts reality so that we see only what it wants us to see. This name ends our tunnel vision and stops our delusions so that we perceive truth in our daily circumstances and see things as they really are. Kabbalah teaches that concealment always precedes revelation. A seed is concealed in the ground in order to produce a tree. A baby is concealed in the womb before it is born into our world. A new invention is concealed in the inventor's mind before it appears in material form. Electrical energy must be concealed in a wire to express its power in our lives. A writer conceals ideas and principles inside metaphors and stories in order to reveal universal truths in the mind of the reader. The genuine light of the Creator and the ultimate truths of life are also first concealed before they are revealed. It's up to us to strive to uncover these truths, to restore the light into the world so that pain and suffering, deceit and hatred are eternally abolished from the landscape of human existence. The meditation that he offers up in this name is, you bring forth the powers of observation to see the truth and the courage to handle it. And I think this is so important when we're looking at compassion and a lot of spiritual paths. It's not always about it being the easiest way. A lot of times it becomes the easiest way. We just don't always see it that way. And that we do have these seeds inside of us. We do have these concepts growing, and it's a matter of bringing them out. And so once we can see that we have these things, once we see this truth in us that we're meant to bring these things out, that we're meant to have an enjoyable life, that we're meant to do different things in this world, and we find that through our drive, that we're also going to have that courage to deal with what it takes to get there, or what it takes to go through the processes of developing these things along the way. Because as we know, and part of what I teach is that you have to put that effort in. You know, you can't just sit back and go, okay, I see you're there. You got to actually get some effort in there. So the name that is here, revealing the concealed, is pronounced Mem Yod Kaf. Mem Yod Kaf is how it's pronounced, and that's revealing the concealed. So some great insight for us there tonight. Now, again, we're looking at manifesting dreams tonight. So turning dreams into reality is something that a lot of us think about and few of us learn how to do. This time of year, a lot of people are setting their resolutions. They're making the changes and to do things in their life. They want to do these different things. But oftentimes what I find is that resolutions are made for things that we feel that we have to do in life and not for things that we want to do in our life. And that's a very big difference to me. How many times have you thought to yourself when making a resolution, I have to lose weight, or I have to make more money, or I have to find a relationship, or anything else that you've made a judgment about in your mind? So even if this is not a conscious perception, it can very likely be a subconscious one. Now, what happens is that at least subconsciously, we've already set ourselves up to fail when we're in this pattern. So there's a natural resistance to making those changes that we think we want to make. But when we refocus our thoughts to doing something that we want to do, then we can fully buy into that process and make the effort to get there. So think about when you truly have wanted to do something in your life, okay? When you truly want to do it, you feel it in your heart, and you've got plenty of energy to do whatever it takes to make it happen or whatever it took to make it happen, and you look forward to putting the time into getting there, okay? There are times when we're seeking something, but maybe past programming or subconscious blocks come up that interfere with that manifestation process of things, and it keeps them from happening maybe as quickly or as fully or as easily as we'd like them to happen. And this is a time where we need to delve within ourselves and find compassion for ourselves, okay, in this process. And you want to find compassion with the challenges that you're presented with, okay, because when you have that compassion, you're going to be able to keep breaking through those over and over again, and you're going to get where you want to go. And it's really important to not give up during these times. And this is where a lot of people, particularly with resolutions, first of all, not only are they feeling like they have to do it and they're forced to do it, and they've got that natural resistance up, but then they tend to just kind of give up on it when a few challenges come their way or they hit that weight plateau or things like that. But it's really important not to give up, because giving up only leads us to face this lesson at another time or in another way that oftentimes is going to be even more challenging for us. So many people think doing what they want is selfish, and this is a really important key, and I'm thinking maybe Dina, our guest tonight, is going to agree with me on this. But many times when we do things that we want, we benefit not only ourselves, but also those around us. So if we want to get a better job, we not only see the benefits of that, but also we benefit others, because it may make it easier for us to care for our children, or allow us to make repairs on our house that need to be made, or remove the pressure off of a spouse. Our peace of mind and our joy is also going to bring joy to others. So remember in my principles of compassion that when we take time to give to ourselves, we have more to give to others. So that's a very important thing. We're a little bit into our show here, but I do want to give our guest as much time as possible today. So I'm going to take a short break. When I return, we're going to have Dina Beauvais on with us, and she's going to be talking about her program that she works with, which is the Dream Program Kit and the 7 Steps to Achieving Goals and Dreams. And what we're going to do is take a short music break before we bring her on. I've got for you a song that's called Waves. It's by Claire Hedin, who was on my show 2 weeks ago. And if you happen to miss that show with Claire, you can always go back and listen to it in the archives. And you can also find more of her music at clairehedin.com, which is CLAREHEDIN.com. So I'm going to go ahead and get this on, and we'll be back in just a few minutes with our guest, Dina Beauvais.
thought the waiting was over, thought the search was done, thought that I had found in you, that special one. Well, seems I was mistaken, and it seems that I have yet to find someone with a heart in their soul and a soul in their mind.
All right. Well, welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're listening to Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour. My name is Jessie Ann Nichols George. We were just listening to Waves, which is done by Claire Hedin. She was a guest on our show a couple of weeks ago. And on tonight's show, I've got our guest as Dina Beauvais. And she is an expert in manifesting new realities. She's the creator of the award-winning Dream Program Kit, 7 Steps to Achieving Goals and Dreams, and that you can find at her website at www.dreamprogram.com, and I'm going to type that into our chat for those in chat and those listening out there that want to see what I'm actually saying, which usually is pretty good. We can usually understand it fine. But there we go, dreamprogram.com. And since 1993, Miss Beauvais has founded and built several multi-million-dollar businesses while juggling a strong marriage and 4 children. She was featured on ABC's Wife Swap, where her program was used with a family living in poverty. Dina successfully mentors others in manifesting the life they want. Ms. Beauvais holds a Bachelor of Science in Business Marketing and a minor in Communications from Northern Illinois University. Additionally, she has been certified in the following: Stephen Covey Leadership, Dale Carnegie Leadership, Maui Mastermind, and Report Leadership International. Dina also worked with teens in the Yavapai County court system. So let me go ahead and open up her mic and bring her on here. Dina, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to be with me here on Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour.
Thank you so much for having me, Jessie. I'm very honored.
Oh, it's a pleasure, and I know that you've been very busy with the work you're doing, so taking the time out is greatly appreciated. And I just want to remind everybody that's listening in tonight that if you have questions for Dina along the way, you can either type them into our chat area or you can call in at 760-542-4345 and just press 1, and that'll get you right into our caller queue where you can ask her questions. Now, Dina, let's start by having you share with our listeners a little bit about your life, because I know you weren't always just sitting there in that pretty house and having the great family that you have now and everything like that. And just share with us maybe a little bit of who you are and what brought you into the work that you're doing now.
Okay, great. Well, in Chapter 1 of our book, Dream to Destiny, which comes in the award-winning Dream Program Kit, I do share my poverty to prosperity story, and I'm also going to share a little bit here right now with everyone. I was raised by a mentally ill single mother of 3, living below poverty level. So I was not raised with many boundaries or direction. There was so much trauma and dysfunction in my life that by age 6, I struggled with constant negative thoughts and depression. And from the time I was 5, just to give everyone a little bit of an idea of what I went through, from the time I was age 5 until I was age 18, my mom was committed to a mental ward every other year, like clockwork. And once I even saw her taken away in a straitjacket by an ambulance. And all this was just devastating to me. And her boyfriend was a raging alcoholic who blew a hole through our front door and rammed his car into our garage door. And I just share a few of these little things just to show you that I had a crazy upbringing. And most people would probably look at me back then and say, oh, my gosh, she's going to end up being a drug addict and commit suicide or something. And I was not set up for success. And so what happened was I had to raise myself. I had to figure out, how am I going to live this life and raise myself? So thankfully, a distant relative paid for our private schooling, and my sisters and I poured myself into studying, getting really good grades, and I ran away to college as soon as I can at age 18. And this is where I learned about using the 3 powers that I teach about in our program: the power of God, or your higher power, the power of your mind, and the power of passion. And what you do is you use these 3 powers simultaneously to change your life and live the life of your dreams. And this was the beginning of the Dream Program. I created this program for myself as a way to rise above the dysfunctional life handed down to me. I wasn't even thinking about sharing this with other people at this time. And I ended up graduating with honors at age 22. I bought a one-way ticket to the sunniest city in America, and I've been living my dreams ever since. After 3 successful years in corporate America, I started my own business and built it to a multi-million-dollar enterprise. And I had everything that anyone would want, but I didn't have a life partner and I didn't have children. And at this point in my life, I was about 29 years old, and I really wanted to get married and have a family. And so I used the Dream Program, my little secret method that nobody knew about, to find my soulmate, Mark Beauvais, and to have a family. And now we have 4 children, and we have a wonderful family. He's an awesome husband of 14 years. We've been together for 20 years, and he's just an amazing blessing and support to me, a gift from God. And together we've built several successful companies that we run as a team. And it's just a lot of fun. Like, I love being an entrepreneur. That's what I was born to be. And, you know, I took the risk, made the jump, and I feel like I'm living my dreams. And now I'm helping other people do the same. The Dream Program is just one of our 5 businesses. And we just, it's a passion of mine, the Dream Program, because it's the way that I live my life ever since 1986. And it's very, very successful. It's all over the world now. Our kit, our Dream Program kit, was voted top recession buster by the LA Times, which is wonderful, and it's really changing people's lives for the best. It's just so awesome what's happening.
I love your story, and there's a few reasons behind this, because I think there are so many people that get into that space and they're like, I'm a victim of this and I'm a victim of that, and it just goes to show that when you step out of that victim space, that no matter what your circumstances are, you can change your life into what you want it to be.
Absolutely.
And you're such a great example, because what you've come from is, I would say, more extreme in some ways than what most people go through. So you've really got a broader base, and I think, too, because so many people think when they've developed these types of programs like what you've developed, they think, oh, these people had, $20,000, $50,000 or whatever sitting in the bank. Somebody funded stuff for them, and it's not the case. And so for you to come out of those circumstances, and I can only imagine the trauma of what it's like to be that young, watching your mom pulled out in a straitjacket.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, it was devastating.
That's intense. That's beyond
and
intense.
I was suicidal, and I talk about that in the book, and I think that was my rock bottom. When I was 18, I attempted suicide because I didn't know how to deal with all this that I grew up with. And I would even go to psychiatrists and psychologists, and all they would do is give drugs. And maybe a few listened, but I could tell they didn't care. And if people don't care, then I don't want to go to them anymore. So I had to figure out how I was going to help myself. And that's what the Dream Program did for me. It changed me. On the inside out.
And what I love, too, and I actually just addressed this in my blog this week, is that you're walking your talk. You're not just telling people, oh, here, try this program and it's going to change your life. You've been using this program. You've been working with it. You've been using it in your day-to-day life. You still use it in your day-to-day life from what I've seen of you.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I even get my kids to use it now, and my husband uses it. And this is how we achieve our goals every year. This is how we even figure out what our goals are. And I'll share that with you a little later, too.
Oh, good. Because I think that's a lot of people are, I think, feel very lost these days from what I've seen. There's a lot of people that are wondering, but what do I do? How do I know where to focus my energy? So I think that's a great thing to go with. And I know one of the things you do with this program is that you have specific daily steps that you take, and you even mention doing things at certain times of the day, like working with the dream board at night before going to sleep, using some positive statements first thing in the morning. And I know that this consistency is really important to success, and I'm sure you're going to elaborate on this for us, because it creates a flow of energy that can build for us, and it regularly keeps our mind in this, what I would call kind of a strong place that's focused on the direction that we want to go, instead of worrying about that lack or what we don't have or what we're not getting. And we actually just had a guest on one of our other shows in Main Street Universe on Wednesday who was Chris Penzick, and he was also mentioning this importance of doing things daily for some of these same reasons, because of needing that consistency, needing to tap into that energy day to day. So I guess then it comes back to, can you explain to our listeners more about the importance of the sort of daily rituals that are involved with your program?
Absolutely. I wanted to share with everyone the 7 steps, and there are 5 dailies. I call them the dailies. There are 5 dailies within those 7 steps. So the first step to living your dreams is doing the Dream Touch questionnaire in our book, which comes in the kit. And I do it every year, and it's wonderful. It'll help you get motivated. Anyone out there who struggles with getting motivated or inspired, it'll totally inspire and motivate the pants off of you. And it'll get you totally in touch with your deepest desires in your heart, as well as your gifts, talents, and passions. And then from there, you're going to find out your dream goal. Like, for example, I just did this Dream Touch questionnaire recently because I do it every year at the beginning of the year before New Year's resolution time. And one of my always what happens is I always get recentered on what's really important to me. And so always when I do it, I get recentered on my family is number one under God. I'm very spiritual. I'm very much into the Bible and everything. So God is number one. My family is number two. And being an excellent mother is what I need to really focus on because I tend to be a workaholic. And so every year I just realize I come back to, oh my gosh, I got to really focus on the kids. I want to really focus on the kids because nobody focused on me, and it was terrible not having anyone in my corner, no support. So anyway, the first step is the Dream Touch questionnaire, so you can get in touch. The second step is a daily, and then the next few steps are dailies. So the second step is use your natural resources daily to achieve your dreams and goals. So your natural resources that we talk about in the book are your gifts from God that you were born with, something that comes so easily to you that you think everybody has it, but really they don't. Your talents, you know how someone just seems to be a very talented sports person or football player, whatever, or someone's a very talented or gifted singer. So what you want to do is you want to use your gifts, talents, passions, and skills that you uncovered in the DTQ, Dream Touch Questionnaire, to achieve your dreams and goals, or your dream goal, your number one biggest dream goal. that you discovered in that Dream Touch questionnaire. Okay, so daily you want to use those resources. Step 3 is pray through your key cards twice daily. And the key card comes in the book as well. And what it is you have a front and a back. And it's about 5 inches by 8 inches, this card stock. And the front, you're saying thank you to your higher power. Thank you for all these gifts that I have. And you list your top 5 gifts. So you're being thankful. And this is, 2 times a day. Every night, just before falling asleep, you are meditating and praying and visualizing this key card, as well as immediately upon waking in the morning. So I recommend people doing several key cards, having one right next to their bed and having one in their bathroom just in case they forget. They have a backup. So after thanking God or the higher power for your gifts, then you thank the higher power for what you're passionate about. Thank you that I'm passionate about my husband, about my children, about being an excellent wife, an excellent mother, an excellent business person, friend, and so on. These are my things that I say. And then there are some other things that I have written down for people to say. Thank you that I can do all things through your strength. Because what you want to do, you want to tap into a higher power strength. You don't want to do things on your own. And then thank you that all things are possible for me as I ask, believe, and take action. I say this all throughout the book, all throughout our program. You have to ask your higher power, you have to believe, and you have to take action. It's kind of like a recipe. And then on the key card it says, show me how you want me to use my gifts and passions for the common good, building up my family and community. And where I got that from was in the New Testament in the Bible. It says, God says, that we are each given unique gifts in order to build up the common good. And I figured the common good, who is that? That's our family and our community. That's why we have those gifts. And then next is your dream goal. And what you do is you say, I see myself being for me, it's being an excellent wife, mother, and business owner. And then you have 3 I am statements. I am fit for life because I struggle with my weight and with eating, and so that's something I am reprogramming my mind. I am fit for life, very healthy. I am, and your 3 I am statements are going to support your dream goal. I am an excellent role model for my family and for others. And it goes on. And then please bring my dreams. So you're asking your higher power. It's like a prayer. Please bring my dreams into reality quickly or change my heart to desire what you want. And that's the surrender part. Because people always say, isn't that weird that you're just asking God or asking your higher power to give you all these things? But I'm saying, well, first of all, I found out what the deepest desire of my heart is, which is being an excellent wife and mother. That's number 1. And then secondly, I'm saying, please bring my dreams into reality quickly or change my heart to desire what you want. So that's surrender. And that's a very important point.
I think that's a very big point that you bring in there, to change my heart to what you want, because I think sometimes our ego can get wrapped into things, and I think that sometimes as human beings we can't always see what that best option is.
Right.
We think we want to go, but that may not be aligned with maybe a greater will or a greater desire.
Right. And what I teach people in the Dream Program is I say, God knows best, or your higher power, this huge power that created the universe knows best, so much better than we know. He's been around for billions of years or however long, we don't even know how long, and we've only been around for 40-something years or 30-something or 20-something, you know.
And an example of, especially with Valentine's Day coming up, would be somebody might be very set on having a certain person in their life, and it just isn't working out. But when you use this technique, if for some reason that person isn't the one that's meant to be in your life, it's because that higher power has somebody who's going to be more loving for you and a better fit that's going to support you in your growth and your development and will be able to last with you.
Right. Yes.
So I think that's the key to keep in mind, that it's always, most likely it's always going to be better, even if it doesn't seem like it in the moment.
Yes. Yes, and we have to be able to give it up, and surrender is our seventh key. We need to be able to say, okay, I give this relationship up. If it's not best for me, bring me what is best for me. I believe that you want me to be happy, that you want me to be with someone who's supportive and healthy and nurturing. So I give this person up, and I trust you to bring to me the best, whatever you want. And then a lot of times, like what happened with me, I did that with my husband. When we were dating, I gave him up, I surrendered him, and God brought him back to me. And I mean, it was really, really hard because I didn't know if he was the best for me. And I mean, that's a whole long story in and of itself. But anyway, it turned out that he was the best, and he is the best for me. So then the key card, it goes on, it says, prepare me, and this is what I wrote in there for everyone to pray and say or meditate on every single night and morning. Prepare me to be able to handle all this. Strengthen me to step into my divine destiny, my unique purpose, by way of my gifts and passions. Thank you in advance for answering this prayer. Thank you for blessing me abundantly in every way. I love and trust you wholeheartedly. And then you turn it over, and this is where a lot of people who go through the dream program, they don't even get this. You have to turn it over, and I write it at the bottom. I say, draw your dream sketch on the back of this card. Visualize your dream sketch night and day. So they turn the card over, and then they draw out in their own hand, even if they're a bad artist like me. I'm still on stick figures. And you just draw out.
I'm not even sure I'm at stick figures.
Oh, I've never heard that one.
Sighted arms and legs and.
So yeah, you just draw it out. It doesn't look pretty. Like mine never look pretty. But I just found that drawing my little dream sketch out on the back of my card is much. It just works better than the dream board with cut-out magazine pictures. I do have a dream board. We all do in our family, and it was on Wife Swap too. And I make new dream boards every year or so. But what I really focus on night and day with the key cards is my dream sketch, and then I photocopy my dream sketch and I put it all over the house. I put it in my office, my bathroom mirror, in the bathroom, in my Bible, in whatever book I'm reading, everywhere, in the car, at the gym. So I'm always meditating on it. It's not even just morning and night. I'm constantly meditating on it. I have it in my peripheral vision, and that's what I recommend for people to do, because it'll seep into your subconscious. And the subconscious works 24/7 around the clock with the universal power to make things happen, whether positive or negative. So think about, a lot of us are naturally negative. We're naturally negative thinkers, and we naturally walk around saying, I'm so fat, I need to lose weight. I want to lose weight. I've got to lose weight. You know, that's what we naturally say. Or I've got to make more money. I hate my job. And see, when we dwell in all that and say that over and over and over, the subconscious mind is still working 24/7 around the clock with the universal power. And so it just keeps manifesting the same thing over and over, misery. Mm-hmm. And that's why I had to get out of St. Louis, Missouri. I always call it that. But
and this is so true. I mean, and people forget this, how much stimulus is being put into our minds on a negative level through everything, through the news, through people around us, and I think too, especially for people that are light workers, they don't always realize how much is there because they're so busy doing this light work, energy work, healing, whatever, and yet they've got all these people coming to them with all these issues. And so having all these little things around, it really triggers in just an instant back and gets your mind back on track. Because I know it takes quite a few positives to offset that negative. But it can also take a positive person to influence a heck of a lot of negative people.
Yeah.
So these are powerful things. So having that constant trigger, what it's doing is it's constantly shaking us out of any possible negative patterns and getting us back on track. And I've also, and maybe you can agree with this or have thoughts on this, been doing a lot of looking around at brainwave patterns. And as you're talking, I'm realizing there's a big connection here that by having your vision board or whatever around, that it's constantly triggering more into an alpha state and a theta state and pulling us out of that beta craziness.
Yes, absolutely. And we teach about that in our book, in the Mind chapter 6. We teach all about the brain waves and, thought energy and how to retrain the subconscious mind. And that's why we do it right before falling asleep, because we're the most relaxed. And a college professor taught us, and I don't know if you've heard this before, but this really stuck with me. It still sticks with me 25 years later. He said, do all your studying just before falling asleep every night. Like if you're going to have a test in a week or two, just do a little bit of studying every night on that exam. And the information will sink deep into your subconscious mind because of the relaxed brain state. And then you will be able to retain the information forever. And I was like, hey, that is so smart. That's the way to do it. And that's what I did. And that's how I got excellent grades and graduated with honors. And so as well, it's also important to do it right upon waking in the morning, just when you wake up, like right when you wake up, my alarm goes off. So I sit there, I grab my key card, I visualize and meditate on my dream sketch on the back, which is my dream goal, and I thank God or thank the higher power for all my gifts and passions and for bringing this dream into reality. And then I say, show me the way, and I will do what you tell me to do today. And then I do start out the day with scriptures. I do recommend that for people because it centers you. And, more prayer. Like another thing, I have a journal. In the big new Dream Program Kit, we have a dream journal. And I recommend writing out your 10 gratefuls or thankfuls every morning, early in the morning. Because what that does is that gets your mind focused on all the positive, and it helps you to think positive all day long. Because naturally, I think very, very negative, and I think a lot of people do. But when I write out my thankfuls, thank you for my husband, thank you for my children, thank you for my friends, thank you for these businesses, thank you for this income, thank you, just anything that comes to my mind. It doesn't have to be new every day. Some people say it must be new every day, but no, I say whatever's on your heart. At least 10 things that you're thankful for, because then, again, you're training your subconscious mind and your conscious mind. So,
and I think that it's repeated and it's coming from your heart, than to come up with 10 different things that aren't truly coming from your heart.
Right. Exactly.
Because that heart helps activate things.
Right. Because our heart is connected. Our heart and mind and soul are all connected with the greater universal power, which in my case is God, but other people have that another higher power. But but if you really think about that, it's such a deep thought that your heart and your mind and your soul are all one. And that when a person dies, the body dies, but the heart, mind, and soul live on.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's just something. It's just a deep thought that I think about a lot in the dream program. I talk about it a little.
So many people try to separate them these days, but they're not really separated. It comes back to that interconnected concept. And I want to expand a little bit on this aspect of doing things right before falling asleep and right when you wake up. And for those that are maybe more spiritual as opposed to using the term God, and I think I've got a lot of listeners on both sides. So
okay.
One of the things I will say for them is this is very similar to the spiritual process of reverie at the end of the day, where when you go back and you're taking the time to focus on something positive at the end of the day, you're actually giving yourself the chance to clear away any negativity that has come up during the day, and you're allowing yourself to get a better night's rest, because when you go into this positive state right before sleep, your body releases those pressures, those tensions. And I've had people express, I wake up and I'm panicked. I'm waking up in a panic because I'm so stressed. And so doing these techniques that Dina's talking about right before going to bed, right before falling asleep, will actually help release a lot of that anxiety and let go what's happened during the day or the week or things like that. And then doing it in the morning when you first wake up, it's actually setting the momentum for the day.
Yeah.
I think it's, when you start off on a positive note, guess how your day's going to go? Because everything's set in motion to go that direction. But if you wake up and you go, oh, God, my day sucks, I'm going to have to go to a job I hate with people I don't like, and yada, 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 guess where your day is going to go?
Exactly. Yeah, and people don't even realize it. So many people go through life living their whole life like that, and they don't even know. They don't even realize what they're doing. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, and we shouldn't be jumping right out of bed. It's actually very unnatural for us to wake up suddenly and just jump out of bed. We really need that time to kind of let our mind and everything come around. So doing this actually in bed in the morning and taking that time first thing before you get out and do anything else is an awesome way to do it. And, and it just validates your program of what you're doing here, because these are the types of steps people need. Having these kinds of steps will help keep them on track.
Right. And the reason why it works is because the brain waves are in that alpha state, just before falling asleep and immediately upon waking. And when they're slower in the alpha state, then whatever information your mind is telling itself is what is going to be implanted into the subconscious, and then that is what will come about. It's just an amazing thing. So then, the key after the key cards, the fourth step is to take action daily on all the leads given to you from above or the divine nudges. And so, for example, here you are asking all day long, all night, right before you fall asleep, just upon waking, lead me to my dream goal. Lead me, show me the way. I'm going to do what you tell me to do. So now you're going to be getting emails, phone calls, out of the blue. You'll hear something on the radio, and that'll be a lead. It'll be a hint. And then in your heart, in your gut instinct, it'll say, do that thing on the radio that they just said. Or you'll get a thought, and you'll get a a recurring thought, like Google this. You need to Google this. Like, for example, my husband, we're also in real estate. That's one of our businesses. And when the real estate market crashed here in Phoenix a few years ago, it was crazy. We couldn't make any money. And we everything was short sales and foreclosures and bank-owned properties, and it was terrible. And so I was praying and praying, doing the key cards, and I said, what should we do? What should my husband do? And then I kept getting a recurring thought, Google great real estate jobs in Phoenix, Arizona. So I Googled that. And right then I was led to now what we're doing. My husband got a job with this company but it turned out to be a bad company, but at least we learned what to do in this market. So now what we're doing, it's wonderful because we were led. We were totally led, and now we're making plenty of money. He is with that real estate business, and we learned a totally different aspect from that one company. He left it after 8 months. But anyway, the point is that you will be led to your dream goal. When I started that first multi-million-dollar company, I was doing this.
You bring up a good point with that too. That sometimes it's not. When we get led someplace, we're getting led there to learn a lesson, and not necessarily just there because that's the end result.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that is one. It was just wonderful. So now I look back and I'm like, wow. My husband just went to that company just to learn how we deal with this real estate market. And now we're doing wonderfully, and we don't need that company. We don't want a company. We don't want to be employed, So it's wonderful. So anyway, and this is another little example that I want to share. I think it'll help people. I was in corporate America for those first 3 years, after college, and I hated it after a while. I was not a corporate robot, and I knew I was an entrepreneur, I have a free creative spirit. And so again, I was doing my key cards every single day, just as I'm telling you, and every day leads came to me. For example, out of the blue, an old business partner called me and he said, you need to check into this business. You would love this business, this new way of doing your technology sales. And so I looked into it, and that's how I built my company. I took the lead. So I took a leap of faith. See, what I see a lot of people doing, they don't take action on the leads, and then they wonder why their dreams are not coming true. They get a lead. I see them, clients of mine, they get a lead, and they say, oh, no, I'm not going to return that phone call. No, I'm not going to Google that. No, I don't have time. Or they'll get a dream, do this, do that, but they don't do it because they don't take the leap of faith. And so that's what I want to encourage everyone to do is take the leap of faith. Don't give in to your fears and just do what the divine nudges are telling you to do. You'll get open doors, all different forms of leads and nudges. And then the next step, after taking action daily, step 5 is draw your dream sketch and meditate on that daily. So again, the dream sketch is on the back of the key card. Now, I also make my own dream boards and put some pictures of myself, like, for example, when I was my best weight. I want to get down to that goal weight again, and so I have a picture of myself at that best weight rather than another person because it's just more powerful. And then I drew pictures of my family, of us all being really, really close, and the kids listening to us the first time, and other goals. So it's part amateur pictures drawn by me, and it's part pictures from our family albums of myself and my family, and then it's also some things from magazines. So I just want to mention that because people ask about how do you do the dream board. Okay, so anyway, again, you want to meditate on that dream sketch or dream board, and you want to visualize. You want to get the visual in your mind, so that right when you're falling asleep, when you're closing your eyes, every night before falling, while you're falling asleep, you are visualizing that dream sketch. And the reason why I do it this way is because I have a hard time visualizing. Other people might not, but I personally do, and so it helps me to see something in my mind.
And that's good, because even people who tend to be good at visualizing, and there's a lot of people that I know that struggle with it, their mind gets so busy from the day that they still struggle with it.
Right.
So,
right. I think a lot of people have that problem.
I think a lot of people do, especially in these times where more and more people have been thrust into spaces of fear and anxiety, and that's why it's so valuable to have these coming up to remind us, hey, you don't have to stay in this space.
Right. Absolutely. And so many people, they don't know how to pull themselves out, and that's why we created the Dream Program. In the 2008-2009 recession, I'm like, I wanted to do something to help people. And then I thought, oh my gosh, this little secret thing that I've been doing for 20 plus years, I can turn that into a program, and we can sell it worldwide and help people rise above hardship. And it really is, it's selling all over the world now, helping people all over rise above anything, eating disorders, finding their soulmate, becoming financially free. I mean, any dream that they have. So then the next step, step 6, is wear your key pendant daily, which is also called your dream necklace, and that comes in the kit. It's a silver key, and this is the key to your dreams. Because the reason why it's the key to your dreams is that, again, you're visualizing every time you see, feel, or remember your key pendant. It's a memory trigger reminding you to visualize your dream sketch of your dream goal. So like, for example, some people don't want to wear it. Okay, so that's okay. They can hang it from the rear view mirror of their car. So when they're driving, and let's say they are at a stop sign or stop light, and it's a long stoplight, so they see their key, and they close their eyes and they just visualize their dream sketch real quick, and they ask, lead me to that dream goal, or lead me to something better, whatever you think is best for me. And then again, they're going to be getting all those leads and divine nudges that they have to take action on. I can't even stress that enough, because that is where most people who struggle, that's where they fall through, because they're not taking action.
I want to emphasize that, because you're right. So many people do tend to discount the nudges that they're getting, and they tend to shoo them off. And rarely does it really impact us to follow them, but it can greatly impact us not to follow them. And an example of this is that recently I had somebody contact me and say, oh, somebody told me I should contact you to start about, developing a life coaching business. And I knew somewhere inside of me this person didn't have money to pay me for the work, because that's the work I do. That's part of what I do, is integrated development. And so as it turned out, at the same time, right before this person had come into my life, I was thinking, I really need somebody to take over my webpage stuff and revise it and make it more user-friendly and coordinate an email program and the whole works with it all. And here came this person. I'm thinking, oh, gosh, do I really have time for this? And I took the time, because something said take the time. So I took the time. As it turns out, this person totally handles everything like that. I now have somebody redoing all of my web stuff and handling everything.
Wow, that's awesome.
And another thing happened following right after that. And I said, I really need somebody to come in and do some marketing for me, because I'm feeling kind of stretched to my limits, and I really need some help in this area. And a couple of weeks ago, I was doing a show with Claire Hedin, and somebody that was one of her contacts approached me and is now going to do marketing for me and they're going to take it on where ordinarily they would require a monthly fee or something like that. They're going to take it on a commission basis.
Great.
So they come. You just as Dina's saying, you've got to pay attention to them. Follow those little individual things that say, make that call, connect with that person.
Right. Yep. And the next step, so step 6 is wearing your key pendant daily or putting it somewhere, like hanging it somewhere where you're going to see it, to remember to visualize and ask. And I want to share a little amazing story that happened with this. In 2009, when we were developing the Dream program, I was wearing my key pendant every day, and I was asking and visualizing we are going to share the Dream program all over the world, but I had no idea how. And I told my husband that we're going to be on national television and that's going to get it all over the world. And then the next day, and that was just a vision, just a thought. And then the next day is when the Wife Swap producers called us and said, we would like for you to be on Wife Swap. Can we come out and interview you? And they sent out a producer that weekend and interviewed us for like 2 days straight on camera. And we got it right away. And so that is how we got the Dream program all over the world. Because
wow.
Yeah, because it airs in 21 countries around the world. Like, I have people randomly just emailing me, "Hi, I'm in the UK and I just saw your Wife Swap episode. Do you ship to the UK?" Yes, we ship all over the world. And then, Australia, places I've never even heard of. I mean, Canada, and then not only that, it is Japan. It's just all over. It's getting all over, and then it's airing about monthly or so on Lifetime. It just aired again today. And so then we have people contacting us, asking about the Dream program kit and everything. And then the best part is just how all the success stories. I'm overwhelmed with success stories. I don't even know what to do with them anymore. So now I'm thinking, okay, I need to blog them, because now we have too many testimonials, I think, on our website. And so I thought, okay, I'm just going to start blogging all these testimonials, because I want people to know all the amazing things that are happening. But anyway, so then, were you going to say something?
Well, I was just going to say, from that show, too, and I think if people go in and look at that show that you did by chance, they need to follow up by going to your website, thedreamprogram.com, and get the rest of the results.
Yes. Thank you for saying that.
The way the show ended, you kind of thought, oh. And then when you go in and realize that, really, I think one of your greater success stories was actually related to the family that you swapped with.
Yes, yes. It's just, it's a miracle, actually. And it has to do with me following the Dream program, because I did not. So I'll share that in just a minute. But the last step is the surrender flag, surrender. And I want to really emphasize surrender, because so many people give me a hard time. People saying, who are you to just ask for what you want and then you just expect to get it? And then I tell them, I surrender it. I don't demand that I have to have this. I say, here's what I want. This is my dream goal. For example, to be very, very well off so that we can pay for our kids to get their master's degrees. We've been training them since they're toddlers that they're going to get their master's degrees. And so I want to have the money all set aside to pay for their entire college and their master's degrees. So, for example, I have that goal on my surrender flag. I just have it on a white piece of paper, and then I have a little ceremony like once or twice a year where I just raise it in the air and I say, I surrender this goal. If you don't want me to have this dream goal, then show me what you want. I surrender it. I'm willing to give it up. Like right now, we're selling a piece of intellectual property. We are inventors, and that's another one of our businesses. And just recently this week I had to give it up. I'm like, okay, I give up all these millions of dollars that we're supposed to be getting. I surrender it. If it doesn't work out, that's okay. I surrender it. Show me what to do. Rather than I'm not holding on so tightly. And so that's a very important point, because some people, they hold on too tightly to whatever they want. But they need to do that little surrender flag exercise and say, I surrender this in case you have something better in mind for you, because you know best.
And I think that can be a scary thing for some people, to be in that space where they're willing to surrender.
Yeah.
But
True.
at the same time, I can see how freeing this is, when you can be in that space and just say, I surrender this. And you make such a good point. There is a huge difference between demanding something to be in your life and asking for it to be there in its best potential.
Right, humility, being humble, asking rather than demanding. And you know what? It's like a parent-child relationship for all the parents out there. If your child is demanding, I want a bike for Christmas, we're not going to want to get them a bike. We're not going to reward that behavior. But if they're saying, can I please have a new bike? I've really outgrown this bike, and I'm starting to fall off, or Mom, whenever you get a chance, can I have a new bike? So of course we're going to reward that, because they're asking in humility. And I
can see this stuff being such a great thing to do, especially when you're at a point of frustration. Because I can see that a lot of times when we're at frustration, we're sitting in that fear, we're sitting in exhaustion, and it's a great thing to just let it go.
Right. Exactly, because I was starting to freak out and stress out about this intellectual property. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't control it though. I can't control this whole situation. And so I just realized, oh my gosh, I have to surrender it. And I just share that for everyone out there, because there are things that we can't control. Like, look at the life that was handed to me when I was a baby, or look at people who have been raped. They can't control that, but they can control the outcome. They can control what they do about it.
Exactly.
So that is the point right there. The only thing we can control is ourselves and our own mind and our thoughts. And then I want to share something with everyone that is, thoughts turn into desire. Desire turn into actions. Actions turn into habits. Habits turn into your character. Character shapes your destiny. And so,
can you repeat?
Yes, and this is in our book as well. And I've even learned this in other places, like Stephen Covey. When I went through that training, he taught that, and that's where I first learned it. It's also in the Bible. So it is a universal truth. But it says, your thoughts turn into desire. Your desire turns into action. Your action turns into habits. Your habits turn into your character, who you are. And your character shapes your destiny. And that's why what we teach is so important. It all comes down to the thought level. We are who we think we are. We become what we think. If for example, look at a drug addict versus someone who's very, very successful with an awesome family and living their dreams. Okay, a drug addict thinks, it starts at the thought level. They think, I want to get high. I got to get some drugs. Or maybe an alcoholic. I want to go party. I want to get a drink. And they don't kill that thought. And so what we teach in the Dream Program, you need to replace the negative thoughts with a working positive. You can't just say, no, go away. No, instead you replace it with the positive. You say, nope, I'm going to work out. I'm going to drink some juice. I'm going to start juicing or, just something. You replace that negative thought with something healthy. And then you retrain your mind, because if you don't catch it at the thought level, it could shape your destiny. Where my husband has some people in his family who have died of alcoholism. They literally drank themselves to death. And so that's what they did. It started at the thought level. They gave into those thoughts, and it shaped their destiny. And they died from alcohol. And everybody knows it. Everybody knows they were terrible alcoholics. And I mean, how awful for your children to know that and to live with that their whole lives. I mean, so we don't want to have a bad destiny. We want to go from dream to destiny, and we want to control our thoughts. So I encourage everyone to be diligent daily with this 7-step method. Even if you don't believe right now, some people out there might not believe, but I just want to encourage you, just do this, and you will see the fruits of your labor. It is labor intensive because I think it's labor intensive because you are visualizing a lot, you're asking a lot, you're being in tune with the infinite, you are following the divine nudges. It's more of like a spiritual. It is very spiritual and scientific. Scientific because you're tapping into the power of your mind, and spiritual because you're tapping into the power of the highest power that's out there, the universal power.
And I think that's so true. And whether you are religious or focused on God or the Creator or Spirit or whatever term somebody wants to use, tapping into that, the more we tap into that, the more we can get where we're headed. The more we can manifest fully. And these things are not bound by a specific belief system. They're, as you say, they're universal truths. And they're universal truths because they've proven to work over and over and over again. And usually where people fall short or they're not seeing results is because they're not putting the action into it. They're not doing that follow-through. They're not keeping up with these basics.
Right. And so I tell everyone out there they can change the course of their destiny. Right now, let's say someone, a lot of people are going through hardship, any kind of hardship. They might be a foodaholic. They might be a workaholic or an alcoholic or whatever. They might be, we all have problems. We all have our issues. But I just want to tell everyone out there that you can overcome your bad habits with this program because you're retraining your mind, which then shapes your habits, which shapes your destiny.
So let's take an example because I know several people in this position right now, Dina. A lot of people I know are going through major transitions. They're working on manifesting things in their life. They've got dreams, they've got goals, they're headed down a path. They have concepts of where they want to go, maybe not totally clear, but they've got concepts. And they're trying to manifest something, but at the same time they're having to hold on to something else to keep their bills paid.
Yes, I know that.
Transition. And I know several people in that position right now. So what somebody in that position, what would they do or how would you work with that? Okay.
What they do, they follow our program, that they follow these 7 steps. Just diligently daily. They do the 5 dailies. First of all, it is really important to do that Dream Touch questionnaire because it gets to the heart of the matter. It gets to what do they really, really want in life, because it might not, what they're going for, what they're trying to get to might not be what they truly, truly want deep down in their heart.
Mm-hmm.
So that I do think it's really important to start with that soul-searching exercise, and then to do those dailies, to think, okay, what are my natural resources, my gifts, talents, passions? I'm going to use those daily to get to my dream goal. I'm going to do my key cards. I'm going to diligently, daily do all that Dina's saying in this 7-step program. Like, that's what I tell people. I say, fill out the front and back of your key card, draw your dream sketch, photocopy your dream sketch, and put it all over the house. Have it in your peripheral vision everywhere you go, in your car, in your book, in your house, in your bathroom, in your bedroom, in your, in everywhere you can think of, without people thinking you're weird, without other people seeing it. So, like, for example, what I do is I hide mine in my medicine cabinet. Because, like the cleaning lady, when she comes, I don't want her to see my deepest heart desires. But, and then what they do is they have some kind of memory trigger, like the key pendant, the dream necklace, or something, some memory trigger, maybe in their car when they're on their way to their job, okay? They are asking, they don't even have the radio on. They are asking the whole time. They're saying, lead me to my dream goal. Thank you that I have this job right now. Thank you that I'm making this money right now. Remember, you got to be thankful, because, again, I always talk about this in the book too. It's like that parent-child relationship. You want to say, thank you, Mom, Dad, for what I have right now. Thank you that I have this bike, this room, this job, this money to pay the bills. But as you know, I'm very unhappy at this job. And can you please show me the leads to get to my dream job? And then they're quiet and they're still in the car. They try to be quiet and still, and they listen in their mind. They listen for ideas, because ideas can pop in our mind from the universal mind. So, like, instantly. And actually, this is how I left my job that I hated. That's exactly what I did. All this that I'm telling you. This is how I went from being a slave in corporate America, making $70,000 a year, to being my own boss, CEO, making over $250,000 a year in 2 years. I had to go.
I'm going to be there in 2 years.
See, I went to my job crying. I was actually crying going to my job, and with the radio turned off, asking, visualizing, begging, saying thank you, just because I knew that's what you're supposed to do. And then literally, just all those leads daily. I would get leads like this customer would say, do you have any other company you can recommend? And I said, oh, yeah, I'm starting my own company. I'm going to be leaving this company in a month, and I'm starting my own. I'll let you know about that when I leave. So God led me, or the divine led me to the success. I can't I should not say it's all me. I mean, all I did was ask and take action. Well, no, I asked, believed, and took action. And that's what I want everyone to do. Ask, believe, and take action. And a lot of people are insecure about asking. They don't want to ask, but they have to. They have to be humble enough to ask.
And the asking is also realizing, again, that you're not just receiving for yourself, but you're receiving for a lot of other people. Because when you receive for yourself, you're also receiving in a way that is going to allow you to be able to share more with others, and and share it in a much more effortlessly way, or effortless way it shouldn't be in there. And as you're talking, one of the things that I can maybe perceive people are thinking like, oh, this is sounding like it takes a lot of time. But I want to reinforce that it sounds like a lot when we're explaining it or when you're explaining it, but a lot of these things are happening in seconds out of your day, touching, saying, thinking, something. It starts becoming second nature, and that I also know from my own experiences that we think, oh my gosh, I don't have an hour to spare in my day. And when I would take that hour to get focused, guess what? I didn't run into half the challenges in my day that I did when I didn't take that hour. So actually, taking that hour might have saved me 3 or 4 hours of challenges.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point.
So,
and also a lot of people have bad habits, like watching TV too much, like couch potatoes, or and I say that because like I struggled with being a couch potato myself once when I was 16, and I found myself gaining weight and watching too much TV, and I'm like, no way, this is not going to happen, and I cut it off at the thought level, and I said, no, I'm going to replace that habit with a positive habit like working out. And every time I was tempted to watch TV, I would go run like around the block or do something athletic, do sit-ups or something. And so the point that I'm making is that let's say that somebody watches too much TV out there. Cut an hour out of TV or cut out most of that TV, hours, or whatever the bad habit is, and replace it with these 7 keys.
And we're not talking about saying, okay, never watch TV or never have downtime or relaxation. What we're talking about is, not spending, say, 8 hours a day in front of the TV set.
Right.
What we're talking about is, maybe cut an hour out of one of the shows that isn't so positive. If you're watching, I don't know, History Channel, or you're learning something from the TV, that's a little bit different too than just gazing off into space. And we do need our downtimes, and we do need our times to just kind of gel out a little bit. But we're not talking about the person who's only spending an hour a day in front of TV.
Right. Just any bad habit is like for example, my daughter who's 12, she has a bad habit. She sits in front of the TV for hours sometimes. Like I think she has that addictive personality, and I do too, and so does my husband. And so we have to help her with that, to not get too addicted and spend 8 hours. That's ridiculous. And I even know people who spend 4 hours in front of the TV, and they don't work out, they don't eat healthy, they don't cook, and they're very sick, very, very unhealthy, like always going to the doctor, getting surgeries even. And so I just want to point that out. Just any bad habits that somebody has out there, even if it's 30 minutes a day, even smoking, that takes time, smoking or drinking or, any bad habit. I just encourage people to replace the bad habits with this good stuff that I'm teaching you.
And this is the thing, is that, it comes back to those choices. We always have that choice of where we want to be. And again, we're not talking about that occasional glass of wine. We're talking about sitting there drinking every night of the week or things of that nature.
Right.
In there. And so, it's not about deprivation. It's about just making some of those shifts. And a lot of these negative habits we're using as a means of escape from dealing with things or making changes in our life.
Right.
So those are important, I think, keys to hold in mind there.
Yes. Thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, the more bad habits that we choose to stay in, and people say, oh, I have no choice. Yes, you do have a choice. And the more you choose to stay in, the rougher your life is going to get, because you're drawing that energy in.
Right. Yeah, and that was a great point that you said. If there's a negative program that somebody's watching, that's a good thing to replace with positive, with this positive information that we're talking about, or, just anything negative.
Yeah, making that shift, and it's so easy to get sucked into that, but, it's so easy to get sucked into those office politics of gossip and things like that. And, somewhere you just have to step out and say, I'm not going to be a part of it. And you'd be amazed how many other people will follow you because they don't really want to be a part of it either.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was the case, for example, with my mom. She was never a drinker growing up, and she would go to these places, and there would be parties there, and she wouldn't drink. And eventually some other people would say, gee, I always felt like I had to drink, but now that you're here and you're not drinking, I don't feel like I have to drink anymore.
Wow.
So she was
great.
having this positive impact. There were other people there that really didn't want to. They were just doing it because everybody else was, and they felt awkward being the only one not doing it. So you don't know when someone else is waiting to take that step.
Right.
But,
yeah, we have to step out and be who we want to be. And again, it all comes down to that dream touch, being in touch with who you want to be. I want people to be thinking, who do I want to be? How do I want to be known after I die? In Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that's where I first learned that over 20 years ago. He asks in his book, he asks everyone that question. He says, what do you want people to be saying about you at your funeral? Just because that's your destiny, that's your character. And so if we want people to be saying great things, that they were so kind and generous and loving, then that means we need to be taking the steps now to be that person. And a lot of people
not even waiting till that point, but to get to a point where they're saying that now. Yes. Yeah. And a lot of people go through life and they don't even think that. They don't even think, who do I want to be? And I want to help them. I want to waken people, because my dad was one of those people who just went through life being negative, and he manifested all of his negative thinking. He ended up dying of a heart attack at a young age, and every negative thing he said came true because he kept saying it over and over and over again, and he never even thought about the kind of person he wanted to be. And he was a terrible father, and my brother even committed suicide. I mean, he was, because of the way my dad was. And so anyway, I'm just very passionate about all this because of what I grew up with, because I want to help people. And that's one of my gifts, is encouraging and helping people. And I think you're probably truly one of your greatest, you're your own greatest success story in a sense. I mean, I know a lot of other people have had tremendous successes from your program, but I think in a sense you truly are. And you've brought up the aspect of suicide a couple of times, and I think even though that can be intense for people, at the same time, it's important to keep in mind there's very few people that have not at least thought about it or attempted it along the way. And so when we hit these down spots, we don't want to beat ourselves up because we hit a down spot and we had a bad day and we got into a spiral one day. We just want to turn around and go, okay, I hit a bottom, I hit a bad place, done, over with. Now where do I want to be now?
Right. That we can pick ourselves back up. People out there who might be thinking about that, who wouldn't dare even tell anyone of any negative thought that they're thinking, that I'm here to say that they can get through it, they can get over it, they can get past it. Absolutely, they can create a new habit, because habits only take 21 days to create. Have you heard? I'm sure a lot of people have heard that. Remember when the seatbelt law first came out? All the authorities were saying it only takes 21 days, 3 weeks to form a new habit. Just force yourself to put your seatbelt on for the first 3 weeks, and then it'll become second nature. And that's what we have to do with our mind, is we have to train it to be positive, replacing the negative with the positive, healthy thoughts. And that if we are diligent in this for 3 consecutive weeks, we will then have a new habit. And that's what I tell people with the DREAM program, with these 7 steps. Just be diligent for a month. I just say do the 30-day challenge, and then it'll become second nature.
Well, and it's true. I mean, it's just like when you shift your eating habits, and then your taste buds totally change, and you stop craving sweets because you're eating, and your body adjusts to that, and so it's the same kind of concept. Dina, we're starting to wind down where I've got, maybe about 5 to 10 minutes left for you here.
Oh, okay.
So if there's anything really important that you want to get in or share, I want to make sure you have the time to do that. And I also want to mention again, it's dreamprogram.com, and if you go on to Dina's site there, she does have a holiday deal that's listed on the website right now. So I know your regular price is $49.95 on this, and it's showing right now at $29.95. So it's $20 off.
Well, $29.95 is the original Dream Kit, and that is quite a bit off. But also we have the new and improved Dream Kit is actually what I recommend, and it's $39, and it includes 30 minutes of free mentoring with me, the author. And that's the one that's 55% off.
Okay.
So right now, the new and improved Dream Program Kit is 55% off, and it's not going to be that way for very long. I just did that because of the holidays and everything being on the air today with Lifetime. But the last thing I just wanted to mention real quick is that if anyone out there has watched our Wife Swap episode, I do want them to know that Hollywood, we all know, but I just want to remind everyone that Hollywood totally does creative editing, and I mean, some of it is true, what you see, but a lot of it isn't. Like, for example, when they tried to show me trying to sell my kit to homeless people, I mean, that would be stupid, because if homeless people don't have money, so why would I waste my time selling them the kit? But anyway, they concocted that, and they try to make both families look very bad because of ratings and creating drama. They want to stir up the emotions in people. So I want to mention that. And then one more thing, and that is Sherry Clayton, who I swapped lives with on Wife Swap, is now one of our #1 fans. She lives by the Dream Program. She's been following it for over a year, and she's happy to answer questions. People can email her. Her email is on our website. She said she was happy to do that. Her video testimonials are on our website, her written testimonials. She's going to be in our new book, our second edition of Dream to Destiny, and she and I are talking about doing a reality TV show, our own show that we own, and we would have our own contract, and we would do our own thing, and it would be called A Life Makeover. And I've already copyrighted it. It's already in the vault, the creator's vault for TV, and so we're just looking for a producer right now. So if anyone out there knows a producer that can work with us, we'd love for them to contact me, Dina at dreamprogram.com.
Awesome.
So that's about
I think that's so important, and again, that's the new and improved Dream Program Kit, and I emphasize too, to get that coaching time with somebody is really, really valuable, because a half hour of coaching time can cover so much and help you in so many ways. And oftentimes when you're looking at a half hour of coaching time, you're looking at $100, $200 with somebody.
Right.
Right. So right there, I mean, that more than pays for things. And I think the key is always finding things that work. But I brought you on, Dina, because I really felt like you took the things that people need to be doing in their life in order to create the manifestation and to move their dreams to their destiny. And you put it in practical steps that are easy to follow, easy to implement into your life, and are tangible. And I think having that tangible thing really helps people. It really makes a difference, especially for the people that have a hard time following things.
Right, absolutely. People tell me that from all over the world. They say, thank you so much for creating this 7-step recipe. It's a recipe for an excellent life, or it's a recipe for success. It's just a simple, practical thing, and it's only because I love people and I want to help people. I don't make much money, from the Dream Program. We make our money from all the other things. And we also have a nonprofit that's part of the Dream Program where we really help people like the Claytons and people who are living in poverty. So really, it's more like a charity, this whole thing, because I just do it. It's just my passion, and I want to help people. So
and it's beautiful, and I think you're just such a great source of inspiration and such a great living example of what somebody can do if they're willing to put their mind to it and they're willing to do.
Thank you. Yeah, you're right. Anyone out there, you can do anything that you want to do, that you deeply, deeply desire. And when I say that, usually people, their deepest desires are things that are noble, like being an excellent wife, being an excellent parent, an excellent spouse, being the best employee they can be, being the best CEO they can be. It's noble things like that. Some of my skeptics say, oh, yeah, I want $1 million to drop from the sky. But people don't say that. People don't.
Yeah.
People aren't that shallow, usually.
Right.
Is what I've noticed.
Yeah,
so
and
anyway.
that's true. Something underlying that. They might say that on the surface, but it's something bigger underlying it.
Yes. Like financial freedom. That's what a lot of people want. They want financial freedom. They want to be able to go on a nice family vacation once a year or twice a year. Things like that. But
right.
Some people are our skeptics give us a hard time saying, oh, you're just trying to get all this stuff and use God. But no, because I say Jeremiah 29:11, God says, I know the plans I have for you. I have plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. And that is the scripture that changed Sherry Clayton's life. She told me recently, a few days ago, because we talk on the phone, she says, now I realize that God doesn't want me to live in poverty, that he has great plans for me because of the Dream Program. Now she knows that.
And that's powerful coming from her, from after watching that episode and things. And, yeah, it's so true. And I think it's funny you said, something about you're just trying to trick God or con God. And I'm like thinking, how does that happen? Like you could actually do that, right?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Not possible
I know.
to bluff them, really. I mean, I think that's so absurd sounding to me. Well, Dina, we're wrapping up here, and I just want to say thank you very, very much for giving us your time tonight. I really appreciate what you're doing and the things that you've been putting into place to not just create this program and put it out there and make it available to people, but also the work that you're doing as a result of it, the families like Sherry's and people that you are helping out there.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure to be on. I love sharing about all this, and I'm just so happy to be able to share it with you and with all the listeners. So thank you for inviting me.
You're so welcome. And again, you can access Dina's work at dreamprogram.com. If you missed any part of the show, I encourage that you go back, listen to it in the archives, catch it from the beginning, share it with the friends and family and people that you know. Again, just a reminder, I'm working on putting together the 2013 Compassion Tour. If you'd like to stay on top of that, or you want to connect with me about the compassion work I'm doing, you can go to facebook.com/activating compassion. I also have my own page there under my name of Jessie Ann Nichols George. You can also check out my blog. I have writings on there every week that are just kind of encouraging thoughts, things to think about. It's at getyourblisson.tumblr.com. And my website is at bliss.freetzy.com, although that is under revision right now, and I am going to be moving that to a new website address, which I'll let you know about once that's finished and up and ready to go. All my contact information is right there at the bottom of the show description. My book, again, Activating Compassion and Activating Compassion, the workbook, is available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com for the paperback and through Smashwords for an ebook, including Kindle and PDF versions. And I want to remind you, as a listener of this show, I've got some temporary specials running right now because, like Dina, I want to help you help yourself. I want to help you make the changes in your life that you're trying to make. And whether you're listening live or in the archives of Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour, I'm offering you through the end of January 90% off on all coaching services. So that means you're only going to pay 10%. That means an hour of coaching time, and we can cover a lot of stuff in an hour, is only going to be $45 for you right now. And that's as long as you contact me by the 31st of January to get that started. And then also keep in mind that the work is based on availability. I have very limited space on, for example, the quantum energy work, because that's very intensive time, labor work that has to be done. And one other special I have running right now, just through the end of January, is that you can take advantage of getting a free copy of both of my ebooks, and all you have to do is email me at lifeofbliss@q.com to receive that. Just say, Jesse, I want a copy of your ebooks, and I will send you out a gifted version on that link for that. Don't forget that we've got several shows here on Main Street Universe throughout the week. Wednesdays, Daniel, Janice, Brett are on. They're offering different topics of thought. We've had some great shows on with them. Thursdays, 11 a.m., we have Evan Paz with the Zariana Show. And if you haven't caught that, Evan's probably only got a couple of shows left. I know he's been on the edge of moving here and working into his own dreams and manifesting those. And on Mondays, Kevin Baird, Walking on the Sidewalk. He works with his Horizon Oracle Journeys, and that's definitely a very interesting oracle that he has created and developed and is a passion of his to work with. So lots of different things happening here, lots of different options going on here. Again, I extend a big thank you for Dina for being here and sharing everything that she's doing and working with. It's been such a gift and such a pleasure, and I'm sure that our listeners as well have gotten a lot out of it. Again, if you share this link, people can listen to it in the archives by either using the same link to get into it that you used to come in tonight, or by going on to Facebook.com, Activating Compassion notes, in the notes file there. So, again, that's Facebook.com/Activating Compassion /notes. All the archive shows are there as well. So, anyways, here we are. We're wrapping up another week, and this is Jessie Ann Nichols George. I want to thank you so much for being here tonight. I look forward to seeing you back here next week as we delve into Activating Compassion. Don't forget, again, share the show with others. It's going to be available at the same links. And tonight I am leaving you with our closing song, which is Yearning For, also known as Over and Over by Shemshai, a band out of the Sedona, Arizona area. And I just want to say thank you so much for being here with me tonight. I look forward to seeing you again next week right here on Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour. May you enjoy the rest of your weekend and have an amazing week.
And if I could see what makes me blind, I would soar to the edge of my mind and to touch what seems unreal, just to show you the way that I feel. And we are in time with time, one with the season of change inside. And we are in tune with the tune, caught in a balance of sun and moon. Oh, deep inside, the light within, shining to show you it's here to begin. When all I have is all I need, I will soar to the edge of eternity, and we see it eye to eye, one within love to be for the divine, and we're walking hand in hand, caught in the balance of God and man. Your lover, learning to walk just a little bit slower, whispering secrets, I bet you can't keep it. No turning back now, this time we reveal it. One to another, all will discover the essence within the most beautiful lover. Time is still turning, the love is still burning. Deep in your spirit, your heart still yearning for. Yearning for. The essence within the most beautiful lover.